This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, September 3rd, 2006, and this is episode number 148 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from the notworkingmgmstudios.org, so don't go there, today at least. On the show today, we have Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mr. Newell.
Hello, Matthew. How are you?
Outstanding. And we also have Mr. Mike Scopa, of MousePlanet.com, whose internet connection may or may not be working. Mr. Scopa, are you there?
Kindly move your wretched bodies to the center of the room.
It's like he's trying to talk to me, but I just don't understand him. Anyway, it's September, and like Disney, we're celebrating Halloween way too early. So we're talking about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. The first date is actually coming up in about a week and a half. I'll be there, in fact, it's on September 15th. And, of course, the dates extend September 22nd, 29th, October 2nd, 5th, 6th, 10th, and then, every day until Halloween almost. You can find all those dates. I'll post the link in the show, or rather, I'll have in the show notes all the dates. The regular price for an adult is $45.75. For a child, it's $35.95. And if you do advance purchase, the prices are $39.36 for an adult, $31.90 for a child, and on annual pass holder and Disney Vacation Club member discount nights, which I'll also have in the show notes all those dates. There's about a little less than a dozen of them. It'll cost you $35.10 for an adult and $27.64 for a child. Now, the show would have no future for it if we did not have Mr. Mike Scopa, who lives and breathes Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Mike, where are we starting off today?
I think that it's very important for everybody to know, especially those who've never gone there before, who are thinking about taking a vacation over the next month and a half and thinking about going, that they realize that it's a hard-ticketed event and that they do not need regular admission to the park. The reason why I say that is that I received an email this morning from someone who is going down, and he's going down with his wife and his 2 children, and he's under the impression that it will cost him $400 to attend Mickey's Not So Scary, and he's thinking about the regular admission to the park as well as the party tickets, and that's not the case. Sure, if you want to go to the Magic Kingdom early in the afternoon and be there and then transition over into the party, that's one thing, but people need to know that you do not need admission to the park. You can enter the park that night with just your Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party ticket. Really? Yeah.
Now, this will be, as I mentioned before, this will be my first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. Plan my trip, Mr. Scopa.
Well, since you're intelligent enough, Matt, to put your fate into my hands, let me tell you the best way to go about doing this. First off, it's really important that you see the kind of transition that happens when you go into the theme park. In the first place, there's going to be a real change, and it's really better if you don't go during the day and then you go at night, because you'll notice that when you first enter the theme park, you first come from underneath the train station. You're going to see a different town square. You will see luminaries. You will see all kinds of special lighting effects outside and inside of the entrance to Main Street USA. You will see bats and witches and ghosts flying along Main Street USA. The lights will all be turned into green or orange or yellow. You'll also hear spooky music. It's really, really something. Something that you need to keep in mind as you go into the Magic Kingdom. What you want to do is you don't want to waste too much time just looking at what's going on Main Street USA, because that will be happening all night long. If you want to take photographs, take them now. But I think what you want to do is you want to take a look around and say, okay, I'll take a few pictures, but you want to go right into what you want to do, because the crowds are going to be very heavy, and you want to be able to do a lot of things that you want to do, and you only have so many hours to do them.
Tell us about the trick-or-treating that goes on, Mike.
Okay, when you enter the park, you will be given a wristband, and like you are given for extra magic hours, and you're also given a little orange bag. You can take that orange bag to one of, I think there are approximately, I think there are about 12, no, I think there are about probably around 16 places throughout the theme park in which guests can get their candy. And usually those places are identified by a large balloon that is floating in the air. It's usually it's Mickey and a jack-o'-lantern or some kind of a Fab 5 character, and that's an indication that here's where you go for candy, and usually you'll see long lines. I can tell you that in the past, that the best place to go for candy used to be the stroller park, which is right between Peter Pan's Flight and Small World. But last year, from what I have heard and my own experience, the best place for Halloween candy is in Pooh's Playful Spot.
Interesting. Now, well, first of all, I really hope that they implement Wonka bars into the candy that they give away, although I think that's more of a pipe dream than anything else. But why don't we move on to Mickey's Boo to You Parade? The highlight of this parade is the Headless Horseman, right?
Yeah, the highlight of the parade is this Headless Horseman. But I was actually, last year when I watched the parade, I was watching the parade with the one of the cast members who actually trains the horse, and I forget what the horse's name is. But the horse is the real star of that little event, because the horse has been doing this for like 15 years, and it's the horse who knows the route, and it's the horse who the cast member depends upon to make sure that the ride is safe, because the person riding inside that Headless Horseman suit has just a tiny slit that he can look through, so he's depending upon that horse to take him on that little route. And by the way, the run by the horse is best viewed on Main Street, because it's a straightaway point at which he can sort of trot or even gallop a little bit. So that's a place that you definitely want to try and watch the Boo to You Parade, which runs twice on the Mickey's Not So Scary Night, and it has been tweaked a bit over the past several years. It is now much better than it had been. The floats are very, very good. You'll see a lot of the Disney villains. The best float is the famous Haunted Mansion float, which is surrounded by, I would say, something like 20 to 30 cast members who are dressed up as undertakers or morticians, and they have their special shovels, and they do a special little dance with their shovels, and it's something that you really should not miss. It's a really, really good parade. For those people who are going to see the parade, if you can't get on Main Street USA to see the parade, what you want to do is you want to get into Frontierland, and you want to be on the mercantile side, not the water side, but the mercantile side, because behind you will be lights that will be coming up, and it will be shining onto the parade float, so you'll be able to get some good photographs. You don't want to be opposite those lights, because you'll be looking right into them as you take photographs. So that's about it for the parade.
And two things, I guess, we're going to move on to the Hollow Wishes fireworks. First of all, what were your thoughts about Hollow Wishes last year? And why don't you, of course, tell our listeners about Hollow Wishes, because it's a little bit different than the usual Wishes fireworks that you see on any other night of the year.
Yeah, Matt, I've seen it several times, and they have been changing that for the past several years. It's very, very different than the normal nighttime fireworks that you see in the Magic Kingdom. In the first place, it's a special assortment of colors that pretty much you can imagine. There are a lot of oranges, and there's a lot of yellows and purples and things like that, and greens. The soundtrack last year was very disappointing to me, because it was it just seemed like it was tossed together with no thought or imagination at all. What is nice about the fireworks is that there are times when there's 360-degree fireworks around you. You will see maybe 3, 4, maybe even 5 times be surrounded by fireworks. It's very, very enjoyable. It's also a little bit longer than the usual nighttime Wishes. So it's pretty good. I'm really looking forward to seeing if they do change the soundtrack, because for me, the soundtrack is very much important as to how I enjoy the fireworks.
Now, Mike, dressing up is a big part of the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. First of all, are you planning on dressing up this year?
I'm thinking about, well, it depends. It depends upon who I go with and how I feel. I don't usually dress up. I just enjoy seeing all the guests. I can tell you that in the past I've seen just some of the most amazing costumes. The best costumes are the ones that are worn by the adults. Last year I saw an incredible family, several incredible families. The year before that I remember seeing a lot of pirates, a lot of Jack Sparrows, and I expect that I'll see a lot of Jack Sparrows this year. Of course, you see quite a few princesses. It's really enjoyable. One of the things that people should know is that if they do decide to dress up for the Halloween party, that I don't believe that they are supposed to wear. They're not allowed to wear masks. You have to have your face showing, and I don't know exactly why that is, but I've heard that is a rule. And I know that cast members are not supposed to dress up as characters, and a lot of cast members go to these parties. It's something that a lot of cast members really enjoy doing. But that's the deal with the costumes. I don't expect to wear one, but I do have a special shirt I'll wear. I think I have Mickey as a vampire, I think, on the shirts that I just bought a few weeks ago. So I'll probably wear a special shirt, but that's about as far as I'll go.
Well, that's pretty boring, Scopa. You got to dress up, and I implore every one of our listeners who plans on going to the party to dress up. I will be dressing up as I don't know if I've divulged it on the air, but I will be dressing up as the Swedish Chef from the Muppets. So if you happen to go on the September 15th, Not So Scary, and you happen to see someone dressed up as the Swedish Chef, odds are it's me. So feel free to stop by and say hi to me.
Hey Matt, there's a few things that everybody should know about the party that I'd like to mention.
Sure.
In the first place, obviously the most popular attraction is the Haunted Mansion, and my suggestion and nothing, as far as I recall, there's nothing special that occurs for that attraction that night. But you never know; they may decide to do something special this year. However, because it's a Halloween party, what has to happen is that everybody has to realize that it's going to be a very, very popular attraction. So what I would recommend everybody to do is to try to go to that attraction during the first showing of the Boo to You parade. Everybody's watching, especially the families with the young kids, because they're going to leave right after the fireworks. So you definitely want to think about going to do the Haunted Mansion during the showing of the first parade. The other things that are important to do is there is complimentary photos and complimentary cookies and hot chocolate, I believe, during, or at least hot chocolate, for the party. And you want to do those early on, as soon as you can. Get them out of the way, and that way you have all the time in the world to do the other things you want to do. It's very, very hard to do all the attractions that you'd want to do on a normal night because there's so many things going on. There are storytelling events in Liberty Square that's pretty cool, and a lot of things that so one of the things I should say that everyone needs to realize is that this is one of those unique nights where you can get your photograph taken with some very, very unusual characters. You will see approximately 50 characters around the park which you can go up for a meet and greet session, have your photo taken, especially the Disney villains. Something that everyone should realize. I've even seen the Seven Dwarfs out in Fantasyland. So that's something that everybody should think about when they're considering whether or not to go to this event, because you will see characters and will be able to take photos with characters who you would normally not be able to see. So that's important.
Hey Mike, is there anything new this year to Not So Scary?
Well, actually, Matt, I wouldn't say it's new, but it's returning, and that is everybody keep their fingers crossed, because in the past they have had these Halloween riverboat rides, haunted Halloween riverboat rides, where there's been storytelling, and you've been able to get Halloween candy and things like that on the riverboat as you take a ride on the riverboat. Now, the riverboat's been under refurbishment, and think that it's supposed to be back sometime this month. I don't know if it will be included with the party, but if it is, I highly recommend that if you get a chance to do it, you definitely want to give it a shot.
Hey, Mike, we've got some questions from some of our listeners about Not So Scary. The first one is Tara she's from Ajax, Ontario, Canada, and she wants to know if you want to get tickets the day of. She doesn't have I won't have to go into details why, but she can't get there in advance or call ahead. Where can you buy tickets the day of, and when are they first available to the public on that day? I think
they're available. Let me see. I'm pretty sure they're available first thing in the morning, and these are day of the event, and you would purchase them at guest services or guest relations or whatever that window is on the right-hand side of the turnstiles at the front of the Magic Kingdom, and you can purchase them as soon as that window opens on the day of the day that Tara wants to go. I think that, and I'm not sure if the price would be higher or I'm not sure exactly if there's an advantage of trying to purchase them on the day of the actual event. I don't think there is an advantage, but you never know.
We have another question from Peter Fulton from New York City, who wants to know if the first night, being a Friday at the Magic Kingdom, will be a total mob scene. That's September 15th. Do you anticipate that first night being totally crowded? Please say no.
I don't think it's the case of being the first night, Matt. I think it's the case of being what day of the week. I have been at that party several nights, and it's the Friday and Saturday nights that seem to be very popular because it's something that the locals will go to. That's the thing. If you go to that party on any night but Friday and Saturday, you won't be surrounded by any of the locals. However, if you do go on a Friday or Saturday night, you will have not just the guests who are there, who have come from out of state, but you will have the locals. So the locals, not locos, but locals. So keep that in mind.
Kelly Mix wants to know if you have to leave the park if you're already in the Magic Kingdom before Not So Scary begins.
No, and I have not been there to see this happen, but I have heard from reports. It depends upon. Sometimes what they will do is they will ask those people who are going to be at the party to get their wristbands, and they will take the guests and they ask them to go to Tomorrowland, and then they will ask the other guests to leave. What they try to do is they try to work the timing so that there's about an hour or two, maybe as much as 2 hours between the official closing of the park for the day and the official reopening of the park for the party. And during those 2 hours, there's some transitioning going on. Like I had mentioned earlier in the show, they set up these luminaries in Tony's Town Square. They, I call it Tony's Town Square, it's the town square. And they will also change the lights along Main Street. They will change those globes so that they're green or yellow or orange or whatever, or purple. So there's a transition period that takes place. But I don't believe that if you have tickets, you have to leave. You just are probably told in the PA system that, if you need to, get your wristbands now, and then please go to Tomorrowland.
Yeah, they made us stand near Liberty Square last year. We had to wait a good 45 minutes before they let us back in.
Yeah.
We got time for one last question here, and it's from Steve, a.k.a. WDW Today Fan Club, of course, at WDWToday.com. He wants to know, Scopo, what is your opinion for the best place to watch Happy Hollow Wishes fireworks? He says, a couple of years ago, we were in line for Dumbo and watched the fireworks from there. It was incredible. You are surrounded by fireworks. I need Scopo to give his spot. The Animal Kingdom Parade spot won't do.
All right, now you have to keep in mind that you want to be able to see the perimeter pyros. You want to be able to see the 360, and you also want to be able to see the things that happen to the castle, because the castle lighting is very significant and has much of an impact on how you see the fireworks. So you best can see the fireworks if you are approximately 50 to 75 yards in front of the partner statue. That doesn't mean between the partner statue and the castle. That means that Walt and Mickey are facing you as they're looking down Main Street. And so where you are is you're about maybe 20 yards from Casey's on the middle of the street, and you're looking directly at the castle. That way you can see every special effect that will be shown on the castle. You'll be able to see the fireworks, and it's and you also that right where I am talking about. There's a certain midpoint on the bridge where you can actually get a good cross of the PA system, so you'll be able to hear the audio. And the other thing is that every year there's always a rumor that it's not going to be Tink, but it's going to be the Wicked Witch flying from the castle, and that's a real good spot to see if that happens.
Great. Well, that's it for us today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and me, Matt Hotchberg. That's it. We'll see you on the next show.